just have a photo session with the panelists. Thank you so much, everyone. You've been an engaging audience. Straight away, we want to do some presentations to some teachers that were trained a while ago. Yes, so we will call Mr. Titus. Please come up stage. And of course, our delectable and our phenomenal woman, grandmother, mother of the internet, Mrs. Mary Uduma. Please come forward too. Thank you so much. Okay, so, all right, so there was a teacher's engagement training a while back on child online safety protection and reporting of abuse for teachers. It was done by the NKF, Ndukwe Kalu Foundation, I beg your pardon, for senior secondary schools. It was held sometime in October, and this is the best time for them to be giving their certificate. So we'll just call your names. Please step forward and we'll call you. So there's Ogundesi Moses, Mr. Ogundesi Moses. Mr. Ephraim James. Oyegoke. Mr. Oyegoke, please step forward. Mr. Akin Somi, please step forward. Mr. Ben Chris, please step forward. Mr. Tazia, please step forward. Okay, this is Chinelo Zoe, please step forward. And Sally Unene, please step forward. What's your name, sir? So when you receive your certificate, just step to one corner because I want to take a picture of everybody. Thank you. Just bring them, please. Just sign them. While we do this, can technical confirm to us that we can hear our virtual participants, please? All right, please, all the, let's start for the all the recipients, please come forward. Students, it's time to clap for your teacher, you know? So that they will let you use the computer in the lab. Clap now, I'm telling you. All right, thank you so much. Multi-stakeholderism is often overlooked in policy making and implementation of those policies. Over-independence on government for action and resources have caused the slow rate of growth in multi-sectors of the Nigerian state. For a country like Nigeria that desires a safe space for children online, the responsibility of policy making in the implementation of safety measures, pooling of resources, capacity building, accessibility, amongst other needs, should be shared by multiple stakeholders. And the need for collaboration between the government, private sector, academia, civil society, and other key stakeholders to end the child online abuse in Nigeria should and must be emphasized. Multiple gaps exist at this time in the area of child online safety, protection and reporting of abuse in Nigeria. This discussion aims to properly spell out recommendations for shared responsibility of the huge task of keeping the Nigerian child safe on the internet, and the strategic multi-stakeholder model of bottom-up approach needs to be widely integrated into efforts being made to achieve the aim. And some of these efforts are knowledge, awareness, law enforcement, policies, response mechanism, and support system. And support system. It is also evident, due to the diversity of these gaps, Multiple stakeholder groups are needed to sufficiently get them closed. We have identified that there are gaps, but what we also want to do is not to complain about these gaps, but also get them to the field, right? So the next panel will attempt to do all of that. And that's why the panel also consists of people from various aspects of the Nigerian state. Moderating this session will be Mr. Adebomi Akimbo. He's the CEO of DMS Africa and is the current Vice President of Internet Society Nigeria chapter. He will be joining us virtually. Let's put our hands together for him, please. Yeah, all of these speakers have very daunting portfolios, but for time, right? That's why we're not reading out all of the portfolios. So please, it is not an oversight. It's just because we're trying to be on time with it. But I tell you, everybody who has spoken here today has earned their right to be here, and even much more than that. So thank you so much. Our second panel, the first person on the panel is Dr. Nnenna Ndukwekalu. She's the head of the Department of Pediatrics, Federal Medical Center, Ebute Metta, Lagos. Please, let's clap for her. She had to come in all the way from. Please don't be tired of clapping, don't worry. Yeah, thank you so much. So she represents a legacy of something that we are celebrating. Remember, this is called Ndukwekalu Foundation, right? And so this is Mrs. Ndukwekalu, right? And I just want to say that thank you so much, Ma, for the opportunity to be here today. And thank you for all the work that you're doing. Thank you so much. The second person on this panel is Dr. Am I correct? Olusegun Olubile. He's the President, Global Network for Cyber Solution. And like Mrs. Iduma recognized him and said he was one of the first people who started the NIGF. And he has stayed consistent over the years. NIGF is Nigerian Internet Governance Forum. Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Okay. All right, we also have Jutta Kroll. He's a member of the board, National Coalition Child Rights in Germany. That's another virtual panelist who will also be joining us. And lastly, we have Busayo Balogun. She's the head of corporate services in NIRA. I think she's also joining us virtually. She's scheduled to join us virtually.
Dr. Nnenna, you have the floor. Did you get the question? Okay, for those of us online, I think we are disconnected from the main lab that is actually feeding information to the all. So please exercise some patience. I think technical will be on it and they will be getting back to us as soon as possible.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm a medical doctor, and so I'm sure some of you are wondering what is a doctor doing in an IT conversation. I actually also wondered the same thing when I first saw my name on that panelist thing, but I'll let you know what doctors can do in this kind of conversation, because a lot of times when we're having meetings, and Mrs. Uduma is saying DNS and all those things.
Are you hearing me now?
It's like just flying over my head.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
But
Okay.
Doctors have a role to play.
We're still waiting for someone on ground to connect us. Madam Busayo Balogun, please can you switch on the camera?
My camera is on.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was actually looking at a wrong.
My camera is on, but I think we are disconnected from the on-site participants. I just asked and they said they cannot hear us. So I think it's only people online that can actually hear us right now. So I think we are disconnected from
Okay, so I'll just go on. I wanted to say two things. I don't know if it can be muted.
I think we are back, they can hear us now. We just need
So I was going to say two things before I come to the role of the healthcare professional. Based on the last discussion, I just wanted to say something to the children. Your parents, whether they're your best friends or not, they have your best interests at heart. So whether you think they love you or not, they actually love you. And so if you have issues, please open up to them. Then the second thing I wanted to say, and it has also to do with multi-stakeholders, is that I heard a lot of what the NAPTIP boss said, and I'm wondering, why is these things not out there in the media? Why are we not hearing that people are being prosecuted? Things? Because if it's out there in the media, it will serve as a deterrent to some people, and it will also, give confidence to other children that this shouldn't happen to me. So I think that this thing should be out there in the media. Okay, coming back to the role of the healthcare professional. So in medicine, we want to prevent rather than cure. And that's why we hear that phrase, prevention is better than cure. So how do we prevent? For us, that is what we think about. How do we prevent children from even getting to the point where they are abused? Because that is the best thing to do. And it comes from education. We've talked a lot about awareness. And honestly, what we find in the community, I belong to some smaller communities of women, parents and all that. And what we find is that they're not even aware that there are dangers that their children face when they are online, when they go onto the internet. So their own is just to buy the gadgets, give it out to the children, and then that's all. There's no control, there's no regulation. They don't know that children can actually have these problems online. We're talking about the entire society. Sometimes when we have these kind of conversations, it looks as if we're talking to ourselves, people of a particular class or something, people who are aware. But a lot of people are not aware. Even in big cities like Lagos, a lot of people are not aware of these things. And so children, there's nothing preventing them from going online. There's nothing preventing them from being exposed to these things. So prevention is key. How do we play that role? Parents must be aware. How do we get out this information to parents so that they know that if my child is going online, there's danger? And I, as the parent, am the one who should be in the best position, at least initially, to stop it. Okay? So another thing that we will do is, also in line with prevention, is to, whenever we meet, we have visits from patients. As much as possible, we're to educate them so that they know what they're doing. But it is not, if I'm running a busy clinic, how many parents can I talk to about online abuse and all that? So it is not sufficient. It is actually not sufficient. But mainly what we're involved in is in managing the condition when it now happens. How do you identify the symptoms? How do you know that a child is being abused online? Because the truth, as much as we don't want children to go to that line, the truth is that most children will not tell anybody what is going on. They won't tell anybody, and the parents may notice something, but they don't know, they can't connect the dots to know that, okay, this is what the problem is. So some of the symptoms that the children will present with is withdrawal. So you see a child who was previously outgoing, had friends and all that, suddenly the child is keeping to herself, doesn't want to, interact with people, living at home, keeps to herself or himself and all that. Another thing that happens is that they can present with what we call psychosomatic illnesses. So you see a child, and I've seen one or two, who they were brought to the clinic, they were having signs of heart disease. So they were fainting spells, they were having fast heart rates and all that. And we did all the investigations and we did not find anything to, suggest that they were physically ill. But when we, dug further, we found that they were being bullied at school. And this is the same way that children who are being bullied online or who are having issues online will present with psychosomatic illnesses that has no, bearing. And it's very common with teenagers. Very, very common with teenagers. Some even have, suicidal thoughts. I've seen a 12-year-old who had suicidal thoughts. had written a suicide note for her parents because she was being bullied at school. It's not different from what will happen if they're having problems online. Something else that happens with children who face these things is that you may notice that they're getting gifts. You as a parent, you didn't buy this thing for this child, but they're getting gifts from where you don't know and all that. So those are some of the things that parents should look out for. Parents are, I would say, in my opinion, are the major stakeholders in this business, and the children themselves. And I'm glad that some of the children are here. So you're being exposed to these things. You know the symptoms now. If you notice it in your friend, you have also, have the responsibility to report. Another thing that we do is advocacy. I know that medical in Pediatric Association, we've done a lot of advocacy that led to, for example, inclusion of vaccines, inclusion of some vaccines into the national schedule. Why? Because we were able to say, okay, these are the most common diseases that cause this and this and that. And then we put pressure on the government and they included those vaccines. So advocacy is something that healthcare providers as a whole can provide to help deal with this child online abuse. Another thing is then the mental health support. A lot of children who will have these issues, the problem is with mental health. They will not manifest, I've mentioned some of them, they will manifest with physical illnesses. So the mental health support should be there. At this time, as I speak, there is nothing, I don't know, I'm not completely aware, but there's nothing structured that, for example, online, these are the numbers you can call where you can get mental health support or anything. Nothing structured. But when they come to the clinic, to the hospital, then we're able to provide such treatment for them. So mental health support is very, very key. Another thing is research. In medicine, we take decisions based on information, based on data that is available to us. And one thing I'll say about research into this thing, I'm not sure that there is much that has been done. I looked online and didn't really find much. We cannot afford to just make assumptions and say, use studies from elsewhere and say that this is what happens here in our own environment. We need to research. What is the prevalence of this child online abuse? How frequent is it? How prevalent is it is it occurring? And when it's occurring, what are the types? Is it sexual exploitation? Is it radicalization? What is it? So this will help us, to even make recommendations, treat the children better, and all of that. So I think that in this discussion of stakeholders, the healthcare professional is really a major stakeholder. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you very much for that. I also want to appreciate the audience for their patience. For those of us who are online, we will get over this. Moving on, I will be calling on Dr. Tristan Cruz, who is from the Child Digital Rights, to be talking about the mitigation that the organizations have been doing when it comes to digital commons and also interventions in ensuring rural participation. Mr. Tristan, we can hear that. You have the floor. Tristan Cruz.
It's me? Okay, thank you so much for inviting me, and it's a really it's great pleasure for me to participate in your valuable summit. I hope you can hear me loud and clear and could follow my thoughts that I will share with you. The General Comment 25, the United Nations Committee of the Right of the Child declared that state parties should ensure that all children have an equal and effective access to the digital environment in ways that are meaningful for them. That includes providing free and safe access for children in dedicated public locations and investing in policies and programs as described in paragraph 9 of the General Comment 25. That means that state parties are right to realize meaningful access where people come together. But therefore it is necessary to know where children and young people come together and go online. But to answer this question, it is not possible without asking the children themselves, because they know where these dedicated public locations are them for this. And it's important to identify the people who have a voice in rural areas, who are listened to and who can use their impact in a positive way. These people should be partners when it comes to providing meaningful access to online activities. But I think it's also necessary that we have an eye on what kind of access children use. And therefore we have to differentiate this kind of access. Then it's necessary to differentiate between fixed LAN access at home, for example, or in a community center or in school, or if you use a mobile access. But why we have to differentiate this? I think it becomes clear that when children are using the internet and digital environments at home or in a community center, then they are often not alone. There are adults around them, there are parents, there are pedagogical staff who can control or maybe escort their usage of the internet and digital environment, and they could be in a partnership. They can be interested, they can see what they are doing, they can discuss with children about their experience when they are in a trustful relationship. But when children go online by themselves, then we have not this control or escortship of a parental or adult person. So when they use mobile access, it becomes clear why it's not just a matter of training the children, the parents or the educational professionals and teaching them media skills, but when they're using the mobile access, then it becomes clear that design of the services plays a key role in ensuring that children can use it safely and free from risk and have an enjoyable online experience. So it is a shared responsibility between awareness raising, of course, as well as media literacy, but also the duty of care by the service providers are going hand in hand. They have a strong responsibility, and we must make them to take them in account to realize this responsibility and create safe services for children, so that we mitigate the risk that they get harmed, that they have uncomfortable situations, and if it comes in the end to these situations, then we need mechanisms to report this illegal behavior maybe, or illegal content, or if they are targeted in a violence or abuse matter. So therefore it is important to have reporting centers and contact persons, and to make them also known. It makes no sense if you have this hotline and nobody knows about this hotline. So often young people do not always want to contact the police directly or law enforcement, and we therefore need trustworthy centers that can help them make these contacts and also advise children and youth. There are many ways to report online abuse in Germany or in Europe, for example, and various hotlines are offered by different organizations and of the federal state, for example, to receive reports of problems, but it's also available to call to hotlines which are organized by other organizations, by NGOs, or also by the economy themselves. However, studies show that it's not only the reporting, but also the way in which it is handled, the processing of the progress, And trust in the work of the organization is therefore essential that the reporting person are informed about what is being done with their report and how the process is progressing. And this information should be passed on promptly, so that the children who calls the hotline want to know what has happened with my complaint, what are the adults are doing now, and take their care that it could not be happen again. It is also known from the day-to-day work of the hotline that is effective not only to work with the official law enforcement authorities and assign reports regionally, for example, but also to make a direct contact from the hotline to the provider of the relevant service or website, because this approach often proves to be effective as the work and expertise of the hotlines is recognized by the service providers, and the hotlines know the contact persons by the providers, so that the service and can raise the issue directly. While hotlines are there to report specific violence or offenses, there is often a need for advice or counseling when children or young people experience, say, uncomfortable situations online. These situations do not always have to be illegal or violent. Nevertheless, it's important that young people can get support and receive counseling in these cases, so that they can talk about what they have experienced, that they get help and be able to classify the situation for themselves. We call this helplines in differentiation to hotlines for illegal content and behavior, and helplines more as a kind for counseling. And there exist helplines which are run by adults, and also which are run by young persons themselves, because that's a major advantage, because young persons as advisor know best which apps or games their peers use, what they particularly enjoy, but also which problems they are confronted with online. However, these scouts, to be able peers in the best possible way, they need support of the full-time team of the professionals in the background, and these scouts are often teenagers or young adults, and they are undergo a multi-stage training program in which they are learned the most important basics for volunteering in this online advice service from the adult experts. But to wrap it up, I would say it's a shared responsibility between the media literacy, the awareness raising, but also the responsibility of the services to take them precautionary measures, to have a duty of care, and to roll out a really meaningful reporting system. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for that, Trish Torstein. Thank you so much for that. It's interesting to know that what Dr. has also mentioned when it came to helpline is very impactful and also related to research. And thank you for trying to differentiate between what the other line is and what the helpline is. And it's a way for this intervention. Moving forward, I will be reaching out to you with the intervention relating forward. We'll be expecting you to approach from the IT sector, and also looking at the critical people, and also what you have been doing now, a form of intervention in responding as a stakeholder. Over to you, Mr. Shegun.
Hello. Please, will you permit me to stand up? I've been sitting down since. Chairman, can I stand up? Thank you. With my own way. Can we stretch our hands a little bit, please? Because it's not easy. Thank you very much. And let me go there a little bit. Thank you, ma'am. Please, I want us to be practical here. I'm a father and I have kids. Thank you, ma'am, for this program. It's a very nice program. I'm not just happy that NCC has gone, LEADER has gone, and who again? They have gone. Honestly speaking, I'm not happy. But for those that are looking at us online, if you are the officers, if you are part of the leader or NCC and all that, please take this message back to them. Someone needs to be held responsible for protecting and safeguarding our children when it comes to the online protection. And I think we have done this several years back. We have been on this journey since 2002 or 10, if I'm correct. Now, my intervention will be coming in from the regulator. Children, please let me call it regulator. Regulator. Why am I saying this? We don't even need to start looking for a law to arrest those that are posting content, illicit content, or whatever content. All we need is that the regulator should stand up and regulate the service provider. Regulate service provider at the intersection of their relationship with the regulator. The duty of care is universal. The content, they have responsibility to regulate content. Let me give an example. Facebook will not pursue you or I. But when you post something on Facebook that has to do with terrorism, whatever, you will discover that Facebook will put that down instantly, despite the fact that they have over billions of users. You know why? You can tell me why. Because if they don't do it, the regulator in US will sanction them. So this is where we talk about accountability. Who should be held responsible? Not the children. We can talk about the parents. Yeah, they have a duty of care to groom and to mentor their kids and all that. We can talk about the teachers. Honestly speaking, they are trying their best to. It's not easy to be a teacher. Yes, sir. Hello, can we clap for our teachers? And I can tell you, it's not also easy for the parents. I'm a father. I have to go to the farm to go and work and look for money. Abima. And I come back, I'm so tired. And the mom in the house, my mother told me that housework never finishes. Abima, you keep on doing. Now, another housework that has been handed to our mothers is a digital responsibility to ensure that the kids solve the internet responsibly. This is where I will take on the other side. What do we do about digital mothers? As you are focusing on the digitalization of the children, digital literacy, what about the mothers that are not digitally illiterate, or literate rather? So I think there's a need for us to have a broad framework of interventions on digital family, which is all inclusive. Are you listening to me? When you have digital family framework, you are not only going to talk about the girls, you are not going to talk about the boys, you talk about the fathers, mothers, uncle, whatever, plus the kids. They will have a responsibility to do what? To engage in digital literacy. That is what I believe that should be the beginning of awareness. Family, that is digital literacy at the center of the family development. Whether you like it or not, you can't control the children. I did something of recent. I've been keeping phone away from my kids because I really want us to be practical. No be so. But these kids, sincerely speaking, they are too curious. You can't beat them to it. And then I devised a way to beat them to it. You will soon clap for me. You know what I did? I went to the farm, I made good money, and I decided to buy phone for everybody. I said, now, let me buy the phone. so that someone else somewhere would not deceive you to say that you are too beautiful, you are the most beautiful. To express my love, I need to buy you a phone. Clap for me, please. Are you following me? I bought the phones. They are very happy, they are jubilating. I said, you know what? Only one condition. All of you must open Google Gmail. Now, they didn't know where I'm going. Now, all of them open the Gmail. We celebrated it. They said, now you guys can solve. They solved. Now, we need to create a family account. And he said, yeah, it's good, it's good. I said, now let me draw your email into my family account. Then it came, I think we got to a level where I need to start regulating the apps, the ways and manner on how you solve the internet. Say, daddy, abba, daddy, you don't want me to download YouTube? Well, no, you download YouTube. I can only give you 2 hours, and I need not to pursue you. You know what I did? I'll let download family link. Gmail, call it again. Family what? Link. If you like, go and do the expose to your parents. No problem. No. To your friends. No problem. Now, we configure it. Now, the parents, we came to the level of the kids. We are part of the surfing. We are part of the lifestyles and culture and trends. And when they are about to go off the track, we will see. And sometimes I will switch them off right from my office. And they will call me. You know, this WhatsApp is not good though, sometimes. They will pursue me with WhatsApp. There is one way, Daddy, you have not given me the permission to do my assignment. That is the tricks. They will tell you assignment. Once they give you the assignment, parents, you have to struggle to now strike the balance whether to do the assignment or to do the other side. So what am I talking about? It is essential that the family take the leadership of a digital life, digital development, digital trends and lifestyles. If you don't do it right under your nose, your child will be recruited, your child will be brainwashed, and your child will be transformed to something else. That's number 2. Number 3, the schools. This is when leader is very important. I really want to emphasize it that please, leaders should focus on IT development, and they should use creative regulations to drive development in our schools. You only need to give a directive. All school in Nigeria should have internet-enabled computers. If you don't have it, there will be sanctions. Wait and see whether the private sector will not move in. Then secondly, you only need to issue the guidelines and duty of cares and responsibility in which the principal will be the chief account officer. If the computer is misused, then we know the person to hold responsible. Number what? Number 2. Number 3, NCC at the intersection of the operators when they are doing their lances. Operators don't joke with lances. All you need to do, follow our guidelines, ethical guidelines, and ensure that all your operators remove illicit content and communication from the system. If they don't do it, you do what? You sanction them. What I'm saying is that if you don't have enforcement with sanctions, we are joking. Child and life protection is a very serious national threat to the security of the family, threat to the security of the nation, and threat to the digital economy. So I will leave you with this. But from the context of national cyber security policy issues or the so-called cyber whatever law, I thank God that our mommy here was saying yesterday, was able to provide a voice that the child and life protection should be expanded. So please, children, you also have a responsibility. The weakest link in all these things is you. So I will leave you there. Thank you very much. And I need to run now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that practical explanation to parent users and students in the hall. And I'm sure, can you confirm that you can hear us?
Loud and clear. Can hear you now. We couldn't hear you before. Can hear you now. So just
we can't hear you now. But I'm sure we can't hear you. We could hear you before, but we can't hear you now.
It's technical. It's technical.
We can hear you now.
All right.
I'm sure, can you confirm that you can hear us?
Okay, so moderator, yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me clearly too?
We can't hear you now.
Okay, so we apologize to you, our virtual participants, and even our dear moderator. It appears that the problem is inside this room, so it is not your fault. However, it is also rubbing off on you at the moment. So what we will do is we'll just take some questions, hoping that by the time we are done, because the students have burning questions they want to ask, hoping that in the next, say, 5 minutes, this should have been resolved so that you can finish and round up your session. I hope that is fine, so that we don't keep waiting perpetually. So students, please, if you have any questions, can you just file up there? Please come forward and quickly ask your questions, straight to the point, introduce yourself, then straight to your question. We'll just use that while we wait for the technical team to try and resolve this sound issue. If it is not resolved, I think that we'll just call it a day from there. Please move forward. Students, quickly, just come forward. If you have questions you would like to ask, please come forward to ask your question. Please, let's put our hands together for her as she steps forward. Is she the only one who has a question? No other person wants to ask anything? All right, so thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students. My name is Oruzero Atu. I'm from Government Secondary School at Paris Settlement. So my question goes to Mr. Titus. So please, how can we help to secure online for underage students? How can we secure our online usage for underage students? Like, for instance, we use the internet for a lot of reasons, for school activities and other things, but different images can pop up while they know that they are underage students, because when we are registering our Google accounts, we put our ages, which they know we are underage, but then it still appears. Those bad sites, they still pop up. So how can we help to stop it, to know how, to know that these are underage students, so that it won't appear?
All right, thank you so much. Please, let's clap for her, please. It's not easy to articulate your questions like that. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. My question is in twofold. The first question goes to Mrs. Wumi. When she was in the panel, she spoke something concerning the difference between ICT skills and digital skills. I was not really clear about that. Then the second question is, to anyone, talks about how do you protect your digital footprint? Okay.
All right, thank you. Let's put our hands together for Ruby. Going. Yeah, of course. Okay, so for the person who asked Mr. Titus is not here physically, but I'm sure there are members of the panel who can address your question. So please, maybe we'll take Madam Wumi's response first, while the other panelists warm up to help Mr. Titus with answering his question. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. So sorry we didn't have time, so I couldn't be enumerating the differences. I will just use a few topics to differentiate to you. And like I said, it would be nice for me to have the teachers just to send this to you, and it will be a good guide. When you talk about ICT knowledge, it encompasses things like business administration. What can you do with businesses in IT? It includes generic qualifications like talking about what is it about studies, what you should learn, technology studies, like what we call STEM now. These careers and fields you can study. And then it talks about manufacturing, engineering, and construction. And of course, ICT. What we're talking about ICT now is information and communications technology. That's a general knowledge about ICT knowledge. What do you know how to do in all of those areas? But when we talk about digital skills, we are looking at assistive skills. Skills that, I don't know, we don't really have time. Information skills, like data processing that you are learning in school, which is one of them. We have management skills, working with the computers, not just knowing what is computer, what is hardware, really knowing what hardware really means. In other words, if they put you in a room with mobile phone, with a laptop, you can open it up, you can decipher the different parts, you can understand how they are working. These are very critical skills that are digital skills. And then we know about the what we call the productivity tools. Productivity tools are Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. You know, this is very critical because today most organizations like ours, we are emphasizing on those skills. I remember graduating in the university as a computer science graduate, and the very first job I applied to, they didn't ask me what is algorithm, they didn't ask me what is pseudocode, they didn't ask me what is syntax. Those are the things that were in my mind. They didn't ask me what does it mean to code. They just gave me a computer and they asked me to type and format whatever I've done. So if you don't have productivity tools learning, if you don't understand Microsoft Word, if you don't understand how to do Excel, of course I failed. I didn't fail because I didn't know how to type, but I wasn't able to manage my time. That was why I couldn't finish. So most of these things are very essential, and they are the digital skills we need to learn. Then communication skills. That's why I took my time to list out a few of those things to us. Some of the communication skills that we need to have is about interacting with ICT, sharing through ICT platform, engaging with citizenship, collaborations, and then collaborations that are, these days we talk about etiquette in IT, which is called netiquette. Netiquette. Netiquette is about what we've been talking about. What should we do online? What should you not do online? As we are in this house, some people would have taken pictures and said, see me at Merit House, Maitama, Abuja, and maybe somebody has been trailing you, standing at the gate, waiting for you to come out. You shouldn't do that. Am I communicating? When people see a post from me, from you, after now, you should do when you are already in your house, sleeping. So if somebody is looking for you in Merit House, the person has done what? Missed it. These are very important things we need to do. And then we need to manage our digital identity. I think that's a digital footprint. There are some of us mistakenly, you have sent some pictures out, and they always say that internet don't forget. You can delete it and you think it is over, but somewhere, somehow, it is stored somewhere. So the first instance, as we were here, I was sharing with her, I just saw a post, 300 level girl in Port Harcourt just got murdered yesterday because she left the campus and went to a boyfriend's house, and from there, all those things that they have said. So girls especially, can I beg you that you don't go to anywhere you don't know who it is, even when you know. And I always say this at our events. I said to girls don't have boyfriend. Hello, school girls, am I communicating?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello? It is not yet your age to have boyfriend. Don't let anybody, because some of these things we need to start spelling it out. Don't have anybody, even your friend in class. There's no time for boyfriend. You are only school friends. Is that okay? And when you want to learn, you are learning as a group. Don't learn with anybody alone. Don't learn with anybody alone. One uncle is looking at my eyes like, what are you saying? Don't let anybody, even teacher, if a teacher wants to teach you and is teaching you alone, don't allow it. It's very, very important because we have a lot of pedophiles now, and all of those things are starting from all this environment. And teachers, please help us to say it again and again to your colleagues. Don't do it alone. The girl is good, she's bright. Look for a way to protect her, don't destroy her. God will help us. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much, ma'am, for that response. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. So we have to stop the panel now because of the time constraints that we have. And we have students in our midst and they need to go. So we're rounding up now. So thank you so much to everybody who has spoken today. It's been an interactive session. We have learned a lot. And I hope that we take everything that we have learned here and that we make the best and the most out of it. Right? So thank you to all the speakers who have spoken. Thank you to the students who have been very patient and they have been very, very resilient and listening. I hope you took note and I hope that we make the best out of it, like I said earlier. We are going to invite Mr. Adeshola Kisoya now for the closing remarks. He's the NERA president. Thank you, sir. NERA president, sir, please, your closing remarks. Thank you so much. Please, let's put our hands together for him.
Thank you very much. I hope children, I hope you have learned one or two things that you can take home right now. Yes, that's good. So, and I hope you'll be looking forward to the next edition of Postgrad. My duty here is actually a simple one, is to give the closing remark. And part of what has been resounding to everyone is that it's a shared responsibility. If you all will agree with me, we have that of the parents, we have that of the stakeholders, we have that of you and me, the civil society, the government. It's a shared responsibility, and which we all must take our part. And it will equally go a long way if like I said, it's a shared responsibility. Everybody, it's you, it is me. Look yourself in the mirror. It's about you and it's about me to make the whole internet safe. And we want to just thank everybody that's equally sacrificed their time for coming here. We want to thank the chairperson of NKF, Mama Internet, like she had given herself now. Not it was formerly Mama NERA, now it's Mama Internet. So thank you very much. The invited guests, I cannot equally mention everybody's name that have come, that have left, all the government stakeholders that were here, NIDA, NATI, the civil society, all our panelists. We appreciate you for coming. And please, anytime we call upon you, please just do the honors to equally accept and come and give us, make the occasion a resounding one. So they're just my parting shots. Thank you very much. And have a safe trip back to your various destination. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So we just have a resolution documentation from our rapporteurs in a few minutes. So please, representative from the rapporteurs, we need to come talk to us and tell us some of the resolutions we've reached after spending this number of hours in this conference. So thank you. So let's put our hands together as we invite a representative of the rapporteurs. Please keep clapping. They are still, Thank you. So please, can you make your way to the stage now? Thank you so much. Yeah. Put you on the spot, right? All right. So we're there. We're almost there. In, say 10 minutes, we're out of here. So the rapporteur, please. Who's our representative? Okay, so if they're not ready now, the report will be published online. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we'll share to all the schools and we'll publish online. Thank you so much. And so we have come to the end of the COSPRA 2023 Summit. Yeah, thank you. So Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the students. You guys are very resilient and you are really very, very, very well behaved. So thank you so much for being here today. Yeah. And also thank you to the teachers who also just helping them and guiding them. Let's give them to teachers. Let's clap for the teachers. Yes. And to every partner, to NCC, to NIDA, to NAPTIP, to every other person, FCT, Secondary Education Board, and everybody here, and to all the corporate organizations and private institutions that were here, to students, to aunties and uncles who have come to encourage us. Thank you so much for being here. To NIRA, of course, and to the NKF. We hope that we have learned a lot today, and we pray that God takes everybody to their various destinations safely. And we also hope that we stay safe online and we continue to advocate for safety online. So I also want to thank God Almighty for making all of this possible, for just helping us to be here today. My name again is Chinwe Obuja. Thank you so much for indulging me. You've been a wonderful audience. And do have yourselves a wonderful evening. Lunch is served to students first. So please, let's allow the students to exit first. Yes, we are generational thinkers. So let's clap for them around to exit. So thank you very much for attending COSPA 2023. All the best. See you next year. Thank you so much.